half a butterfly. This is also a nice way to stretch our lower back without requiring loose hamstrings. The ligaments along the back of the spine are specifically targeted. Iyengar claims that this stimulates the liver and kidney and aids digestion when folding over the straight leg. It can aggravate sciatica. If the student has sciatica, elevate hips until the knees are below the hips or avoid this pose entirely. Beware of the hips rotating backwards while seated. We want the hips to rotate forward. Beware of any sharp pain in the knees. If knee issues are present, tighten the top of the thigh, which will close the joint or reduce the angle between the legs. If the knee bend offers us complaints, place support under it or move that foot away from the groin. If the hamstrings protest, bend the straight knee and support the thigh with a blanket or block under it. This is okay for pregnant women because the legs are abducted, providing space for her belly. So as we do the right side, we want to open up the legs when we're done, holding the posture for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to do the opposite side. Remember, think about your knees, think about the placement of the foot, think about just tucking the chin in and rolling down towards the edges. Finding our edges are very, very important in these postures as they start to expand the soft tissue in the body. But also be mindful of your spine. If you have any herniation in the spine, remember the contraindication is not to fold forward. Be mindful of your body and space. Being still. We do so much in that still space as our breath creates the space. Coming out of these postures, you want to be as mindful as you were when you went into them. So there's no rush, right? You want to roll up from the spine, stacking your vertebrae on top of each other and letting your head be the last thing to come up. Taking breaths and centering yourself when you finish. Of course, there are alternate postures as well for this half butterfly. Starting from an open position, we can bring that leg in and we can fold over the straight leg, which may stretch your hamstrings more. We could square off our shoulders and let the body round over the extended leg. Remember that the organs that are affected here are urinary bladder lines. If there's a lot of sensation in the groin and your inner thighs or your inner legs, the liver and kidney meridians are highly stimulated and affected. So what you want to do to one side, we have to do to the opposite side. So being mindful of coming up and out of your posture, stacking your vertebrae on top of each other. We're going to roll up, head last. Taking that breath, restacking the spine, coming into that neutral position and changing sides. As we square the body off to that extended leg, we find our center, feeling the bones are stacked upon each other. Then we start to round the spine, tucking the chin into the chest, if that's appropriate for your body. If not, you stay in a long spine and just hinge from the hip forward. The joints here that are affected are our spine, especially the back and the sides. Our inner knees, although this is not a deep a stretch for the inner knees, as dragonfly. Remember that we can hold these poses for up to 5 minutes with the variations after 2 or 3 minutes. This pose is similar to Janushirasana in our yoga classes, head to knee posture. But the difference here is that we have a rounded spine. And in lineages of Ashtanga or Vinyasa Yoga, we are talking about a lengthened spine. Here's another variation that we can do out of this dragonfly or half butterfly. We're going to come roll up the spine, head last, bringing that opposite leg in again towards the groin. And we're just going to extend the bent leg arm up over the head sideways. We're going to reach the opposite arm to the extended foot and lower that shoulder to emphasize the side of the spine. So it's a nice side body stretch. You're feeling an expansion in the rib cage between the soft tissue. If that arm that's over your head bothers you extended, you could always bend it, or you don't even have to extend it over the head. You could leave it by your side. Just remember to yield into your postures and finding an appropriate depth for your range of motion. We want to come out of that the same way we came in, gently, with time. Opening up that bent knee, we want to bring in the opposite leg to start the other side. Again, always finding your center, stacking your body into alignment before we move. So here I'm coming directly to the side, opening up the shoulder. If that bothers me, I will bend my top arm. Always remembering that there's never a must do. The only must do's we have to really remember is to have our body in alignment, right? If a limb or an extremity is not feeling comfortable, we could always bend or not use that extremity, just as long as that body is stacked up in alignment. And here we have another variation as we open up the legs into a neutral position. We could bring one of the legs into a Virasana, right? A forward folded backward knee. And then we could also lean to the side. Adding a twist to the spine by resting the elbow on the thigh and the head in the hand, and the other arm behind the back or over the head. This deepens the emphasis along the sides of the ribs and the spine. Now we're placing our leg in Virasana only if our knees do not complain. We want to roll out of that posture as gently as possible, being mindful of your knees to start the opposite side. Finding that breath nice and long. We want to breathe into the postures. Remember, as I always say, we create the space on the inhale, and we're going to live in the space on the exhales. So nice, long, deep breaths in and out through the nose. A counter posture to this could be sitting up or a gentle sitting back bend, or a tabletop. Always being mindful coming out of your postures, opening out to that neutral position, just feeling the energy running through the legs, through the meridian lines, and breathe.